The first question that we have to you is, what do you think was the big shift that pushed the Indian government to shift away from heavy protectionist ideologies?
I thought that was a super interesting part of the article. I do not know, obviously, but I have some guesses. I mean, if I were Indian from their perspective, I would have been thinking for the last 75 years, I'm going to build up our own Indian identity that is not necessarily linked with how we serve or interact with foreign countries, partly because of how they were, part of the British Empire, maybe as a reaction to their history, which in my mind makes total sense. Let's be a little bit protectionist. But I would imagine now, as the rest of the world has taken steps working with China, working with Russia, working with, Mexico, the Western world, as in the United States and Europe, working with these developing countries, I would imagine that they see an opportunity for their own economic growth, and that is the way that they've decided to go forward so that they can, I in without having better words to use, but can kind of join the the economic world, the global system in a more productive, a more profound way that I guess, I would assume they would see as profitable to them and their future.
Awesome, that's perfect. Um, okay, our second question to you is, how might India's reduced protectionism affect manufacturing sectors in neighboring countries and broader regional trade dynamics?
Well, I mean, India is neighbor to all of these countries that we as America have been at war with. And as when I then say that we as America, we know that our allies, i.e., Western Europe, who are all powerful and wealthy, have been at war with Iraq, Iran, we've had issues with Afghanistan, etc. So I think India is in a really tricky position, but also a very key position to change the dynamic in that area of the world. And I would imagine that um, if they can do that under their own control, with their own government making these key decisions and not a foreign government making them for them, then it should be best for them. But I think it will change the dynamic of that part of the world for sure, in prop hopefully the way that India would like it to be changed for them. Hopefully with, yeah, like they're more of their own, will in it than being compelled by foreign entities.
Yeah, linking it to their colonization is a really interesting perspective. So thank you. Okay, our final question is, the article suggests that the political unpredictability in the current administration of India and the US could affect implementation. How might that influence the deal's impact, in your opinion?
Well, I think that it would encourage India to look elsewhere, to countries away from, not the United States. I mean, the fact that the United States slapped them with a 50% tariff on a country that, I mean, is by far uh, economically, uh, well, just less wealthy than the United States in so many ways, is seems ludicrous to me. But obviously that's a personal opinion. Let's go beyond my but I guess I would what was the question again?
Do you, no worries. Oh my gosh. Um, do you think that unpredictability in the government, the administration of the US and in the administration of India could influence the deal's impact, whether or not
Oh,
it will actually be carried out in the way that it's intended to.
yes. Yes, I do. I think that the whole world is having a bit of a reaction to our current president, but we also know from recent history that there are political trends. So if we see a certain type of leader in our country, it's likely that we'll see the other spectrum of leaders in other countries or leaders that are similar to the spectrum of the leader in our country arise. So I think that it, it for countries to kind of remain steady and neutral, it has to be a very deliberate decision of self-identity of this is who we are steady, we are centrist, or whatever it might be. And so as long as India, can kind of make that self-determination, I think that that will be fine and they won't be too swayed by the swinging pendulum of politics. But if they if they succumb, like so many countries, it's not necessarily a sign of weakness to political uh, like spectrums of politics, then yeah, maybe this would be put off a little bit longer. But it's also, in my uneducated opinion, probably an inevitability in the long run, regardless of who is in political power in our country or their country at the time, right now.
Great, thank you so much.